Hello, 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 and thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Soraya Marshall Wright. Welcome to The World According to Soraya. For those of you who do not know, I'm an estate planning attorney in South Carolina, and I help seniors and families with special needs plan for the unexpected and protect their valuables through strategic planning. All right, so in my first video for this series, I shared with you that I was deeply concerned about some of the statistics that show that the wealth gap in America between African Americans and other races is continuing to grow and is only projected to get worse. And I shared with you last week how even though you do not create an estate plan of your own, the state where you live has already created one for you. As promised, this week, I'm going to tell you what exactly happens if you fail to plan and leave real estate behind. So, if you do not create an estate plan and you leave behind real estate, your family will end up with something called heir property. Sounds fancy, right? Heir property? Yeah. But HEIR, heir property, is not something desirable. It's not something we want to end up with. The long and short of it, the easiest way for me to explain this is that heir property is property that's pretty much owned by everybody and their mama. It means that somewhere down the line, someone failed to plan. And typically the way this plays out is that we may have great grandma who owned this house, and after she passes, no one actually takes the steps to transfer legal ownership to someone's name who is living. Cousin so-and-so moves in, they live there for a few years, it becomes the family revolving door, and we continue to take care of it because it's still family land and property, right? Maybe, maybe not. What it is a property that's at risk, because guess what? Anytime we don't have someone in charge, no one's in charge. It means that things aren't being taken care of the way they should be. One thing that you should be aware of is that, of course, anytime you own a home, anytime you own land or property, there are taxes that need to be paid. So if we have no one responsible to take care of that, the house could be lost because the taxes weren't paid. And that is the easiest and cheapest way for the state to own your property. And guess what? It will not pass down to your family members. Number two, do you know how hard it is to get two people to agree to do something? If you've ever been in a relationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So can you imagine how difficult it would be to have 11,000 million people owning one piece of property? Very difficult to decide what's going to happen. But furthermore, any one of those people who have interest in the property could petition the court and say, hey, I want my piece right now. And the easiest thing for the courts to split up, or the easiest thing rather to split up evenly, is money. So what generally would happen is that they would order that this property be sold. And whatever the proceeds are would be divvied out amongst the family members, the heirs. You may or may not like it, but that's what would happen. I mentioned again in my first video that the wealth gap in America, in my opinion, is exacerbated by lack or failure to plan. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. If you didn't know that failing to plan could mean that your family's land could be lost forever, now you know. All right, and I'll see you next time.